Hello everyone and welcome back to the Honeybee Stamps YouTube channel. This is Kelly and I'm so glad to have you here for day 4 of the Let's Celebrate release, available on May 3rd. The first stamp set I'm sharing with you today is a large 6x8 inch stamp set called Just Because. As you can see here, there's lots of beautiful images to build the perfect little honey and bee scene. There's the jar, the lid, the little topper, the little fabric topper or napkin that goes across the top. There's also a little bow tie, a honey dipper. There's several florals and leaves. There's also the cute little bees, little drips of honey, and then lots of great sentiments. Now you can mix and match like one of the bees for bee, and then kind or let it be. There's happy bee day, just because. A day without a friend is like a pot without a single drop of honey left inside, by Winnie the Pooh. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul. Hey honey, you are sweet as honey, and don't worry, be happy. There's a coordinating die set that you can purchase along with the Just Because stamp set, and it's going to cut out every one of those images and sentiments to create the perfect Just Because card. Here is a sheet of paper that I have stamped and then colored with colored pencils. You can see the jar that I just added my own little rendition of honey in, the florals, the little topper there, the top of the jar, the honey dipper, all the little bees, and you can see how cute those are stamped out. Now, in this release, there is also a honeycomb stamp, the small stamp, and there's also the die. Those would be cute made into a background or added into your honey jar like real honeycomb. Now we also have the honey jar paper piecing die set. So if you love to cut out different colors of cardstock and create your images that way, the honey jar paper piecing die set may just be for you. Here I have a card made by design team member Mari. She's used that paper piecing die set along with the stamps and coordinating dies, and you can see what a beautiful card she has made with those products. Next is the hexagon box cover dies. Now this makes the cutest little paper cover for our small hexagon boxes. Now these are cut, and you can buy them cut and ready to assemble. All you have to do is fold in the little tabs and fold it up. It's very easy. Creates the cutest little hexagon box for a little trinket or little candies, anything that you would like to put inside. But those dies are going to create the perfect cover, paper cover, for your hexagon box. You can see that there are the sides, the lid, and then there's also a little handle. Keiko has created a wonderful example using our hexagon box cover dies. You can see the little clear hexagon box inside and then decorated with some of our pattern paper and die cuts. Now this die set is our lovely Layers hydrangea dies. I've already got these stuck down onto my magnets, but this is an 8-piece die set with everything you need to create the most beautiful layered hydrangeas. So we've got large layering pieces, as you can see here. There's so much detail and embossing that goes into these dies when you run those through your die machine. Here's a still shot of what you're going to get in that die set. Now the upper left-hand corner is what all the pieces look like when they're all put together, and I'm going to make a card with this die set at the end of the video. Next is a brand new stencil, and this is the Honey Dipper stencil. Now this will be perfect with your Just Because stamps and dies or the honey jar paper piecing die set, just like Mari has used here. You can see that cute little Honey Dipper stencil used for the background. We also have a stencil that is the Just Because stencil set. This is a 2-piece stencil set. And this makes it so easy to add specific color onto your die cuts either with the Honey Jar paper piecing dies or the Just Because stamp and coordinating die set. Honeybee Stamps is so excited to bring you the new Be Creative Intense Black ink. Our black ink is alcohol marker friendly. You can see right there on the cover or on the lid with our Be Creative logo. If I flip it over and you look at the back side of it, the packaging, it gives you all the properties and instructions for using our ink. It's alcohol marker and solvent friendly. You get crisp, clear impressions. It's fast drying formula. It has a raised felt pad for all stamp sizes. It works on a variety of surfaces after heat setting. It is acid free, archival, and fade resistant. We are also offering a 1/2 ounce intense black ink refill or re-inker. On the back of the re-inker bottle, it gives you the directions on how to refill or re-ink your ink pad. I'd also like to introduce you to our Be Creative No Line Coloring Waterproof Hybrid Ink Pad. You can see here the logo is gray in color, so it helps you differentiate between our intense black and our no line coloring when these two are sitting on your desk. If I flip this over, it also gives the properties and directions for using our no line coloring ink pad. It's alcohol marker and solvent friendly, crisp clear impressions, fast drying. It's on a raised felt pad for all stamp sizes. It works on a variety of surfaces after you heat set it. It's also acid-free, archival, and fade resistant. Our no line coloring ink pad has a 1/2 ounce re-inker available, just like our intense black. So here's a look at our brand new Be Creative no line coloring and intense black ink pads and re-inkers. As promised, I have a card project for you today using our new Lovely Layers Hydrangea layering die set. I have used some watercolor cardstock. I have them pre-cut, so you can see all my layers there to the right of the screen. And I'm using the Prima watercolor pans. There you can see the top of my screen. And I am adding layers and layers of watercolor into the different layers of my hydrangea. Now on the bottommost layer, as you can see now resting over there onto the right side of the screen, I wanted that layer to have the most intense color. So as I go throughout my watercolor process and adding color, I kind of hold these up at different times and layer them together, just like now, to see if I have the colors intense enough or the way that I want them. So I kind of paused that there so you could see. I wanted to add some more intense color to that bottommost layer, and so I added that there on the tips to where you could see that. And when I was happy with the way that I had the color built up, I moved on to the next layer. And I'm just taking different blues and purples from the pans and adding them here and there, just like a hydrangea. So you can see those there on my waffle flower mat, and the mat and the Prima watercolor pans are available at honeybeestamps.com. So I urge you to check out all of our tools and accessories and painting supplies there on our website. So now I'm working on one of the top layers. This is going to be the lightest layer. I actually pull in a little bit of lime green, just like what you would see on a real hydrangea as those buds are new and kind of blossoming. And I mix in the blues and purples again. And when I get those layers the way that I want them, going from the darkest up to the lightest, I move on to some of those singular die cuts. So I have my little flowers lay out here, and I did cut a couple of extras, and I just work with spraying water, adding color here and there, and then heat setting in between. Now that die set comes with one leaf, and I did want to add 3 leaves onto my card project. So I die cut 3 out of the same watercolor cardstock, and I'm adding a lime green to the tips of the leaves, and then getting deeper as it goes down into the bottoms and to the stems of those leaves. Again, when I got the color and the layers the way that I wanted it, I just heat set that to make sure it dried quickly so I could go ahead and work and go along with my card project. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of dimension and a little bit of curves and realistic looks to the petals of the hydrangea. I took a stylus and a foam pad and just went over each of the petals with the stylus. Now I'm going to show you how easy these are to line up. You can see I have the bottommost layer. There's a little cup on one of those leaves. Each one of the layers has that funny little shape. It almost looks like a little bowl or a little cup, and all you have to do to line these up is find the same little cup on each one and then adhere those together. So now I've got all of my larger layers. I can add 1 or 2 or however many you like of the single flowers on the top, and then you have all of your layers done. I'm going to use a little bit of our Be Creative Precision Tip glue to adhere these together. And you can really see as I work with these how the color is more rich and more dark towards the bottom of the layers, and it gets lighter as I move towards the top. I'm just working my way along, folding the little petals up here and there to get lots of dimension and movement in those blossoms. Now for my background, I'm going to take our wood slatted dies, our wood grain dies, and I have done kind of a shiplap look on a background. I'm going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4 because I want a little bit of lavender cardstock to peek out from the sides. So I adhered all my die cuts to just plain white cardstock and then trim those down. I have a lavender colored top folding card base, and this is A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I can kind of eyeball these and lay them out, get the lay of the land, and decide where I want all my die cuts and my sentiment to go. So I have cut the thanks word, and this is from our brand new Bitty Buzzword die sets. So you can see I've cut thanks 3 times out of craft cardstock, and then 1 time I've cut the shadow out of the lavender. You can see right there above my hands. And again, I'm using our liquid glue to adhere all the layers of the thanks. And this just adds a little bit of dimension without having to add bulky foam tape or something like that that you might see behind those die cuts. So again, I'm going to add the last layer with just little dots of glue. And I use my fingers, just kind of move those around as the glue dries to make sure everything is lined up and set into place. When I get all my thanks die cuts ready to go, I can go ahead and adhere that to the lavender background or the shadow piece that you see there laying on my desk. I did use my little pick tool and kind of clean up where your glue may have seeped out just a little bit. That pick tool is good for everything. I love it, and it is a mainstay on my craft table. Once I have all my thanks layers all adhered together, I add those on to that lavender shadow. I clean up any messes with my little Honeybee Stamps craft pick, and then that is ready to go on to my background. I'm going to adhere that wood grain or shiplap panel to my lavender card base with a little bit of tape runner just to make sure it's all lined up here, and I'm going to press it down and it's good to go. And now I can kind of get my hydrangea adhered into place, and I did use my Be Creative Precision Tip glue. That gives me just a little bit of time to kind of move things around and get them exactly where I want them. Once I get the main part of the bloom down, I can go ahead and add my sentiment. That way I make sure I leave room for that. I kind of have my leaves curled up, and I'm going to use, again, my liquid glue, add some liquid glue right to the backs, and then stick those into place. I'm just going to slip those little stems right down there, and I'm kind of using my leaves to frame my thanks Bitty Buzz die cuts up above. Now this card is all finished. I've added the centers of the flowers, as you can see there, and lots of little clear dewdrops. Those are all available at honeybeestamps.com. And this is it for day 4 of the Let's Celebrate release. I'd love for you to check out our blog and social media for more inspiration, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me this week. Bye-bye.